What is up, everybody? We got One Piece, chapter 1126, and as you can tell, I am pretty damn excited for this latest chapter because I already read the spoilers, and I'm gonna go through this assuming you guys have too. And finally, after all these years, we finally see the Shanks versus Bartolomeo fight. This is a fight that has been hyped up for the ages, brother. This is a fight people have been talking about ever since Wano, because that's when it first got hinted at. But Barto finally got what's coming to him, right? In a cover page story, we saw that Barto burned down Shanks' flag, right? There's a village that was protected by Shanks and the red-haired crew, but Barto burned it down and put Luffy's flag up. While yes, Shanks likes Luffy, he can't just let this slide, right? Because that village believes in Shanks, right? That is a disrespect among pirates. So Shanks, rightfully so, had to put Barto in his place. It was just a matter of how would he do that, right? Would he give him a slap on the wrist? Would he simply, have a party with him? No. Shanks decides to go the logical route and just beat him down a little bit, right? He doesn't kill Barto, he just simply beats him down and destroys his ship. It's a battle among pirates, guys. This is great, because a lot of people were wondering if Shanks could pierce through Barto's barrier, because Odin couldn't do that back in the Odin flashback. 20 years ago, Odin could not break, I forgot the guy's name, but the guy who was like playing the Biwa, like he was working with Orochi, he did the barriers, and Odin just could not break through it. So people were very hesitant to believe that Shanks could actually get through it. But here's the thing. We're talking about the #1 hockey man in the series. Guys, hockey's always better than devil fruits. Shanks managed to break through it and beat down the Barto pirates. And my God, after he does this, he says, Barto, here's a bottle of poison. You need to give this to Luffy. After Luffy drinks this, he will die. But Barto, being the #1 Luffy fanboy in the verse, he drinks that poison bottle himself. And it turns out that it was simply a test from Shanks. He wants to see how loyal Barto actually is. He just wanted to, test him a little bit, right? Because you can't have any bad pirates among the group. You can't have a mutiny or you can't have anything like this go down when you're a Yonko. So Shanks wanted to test out his crew, and it turns out they passed the test. But just because they passed the test doesn't mean they're going to get off scot-free. So the Barto pirates try to run away, right? They try to escape the island, escape the red-haired pirates, but YESSSS, the man named Chaser, shoots them down, and Barto's ship explodes in the sea. Brother, the red-hair crew, they're making their move! Finally, we've been waiting years for this. And this, I don't know if I'd consider this their first fight, because obviously Kid fought Shanks a while back, but we're seeing the crew make moves now, right? We're seeing the crew make some moves. Beforehand, it was just Shanks. And now YESSSS is joining in on the fun. We love to see it, man. As far as Barto goes, I don't know what Oda has in store for him now, because he's in the same boat as Law and Kid. Like, he lost his ship. His ship is gone. Like, what do you do afterwards, right? Do you go to an island and hope that there's a carpenter there? Do you go to Elbaf and hope there's an Admiral there that lets you rebuild your ship? I don't know. I don't know what is in store for the Barto pirates at this point. I think they could just simply call up another Grand Fleet member and just hitch a ride. But even then, man, like, these pirates are not looking good. I think Barto's down for the count for a while. Outside of the ship thing, like, Shanks beat him. Shanks beat this guy black and blue. And I love to see it, dude. I love that Shanks is a no-nonsense pirate captain. He doesn't look at Barto and takes that disrespect lightly. I mean, he took it lightly because he let him live, but he still had to beat him a little bit, right? Sometimes you just gotta discipline him. And that's how it is. And brother, it feels good. This feels so good. Because this right here has been a hot topic for like the past 3 years, maybe 4 years at this point. But ever since we got that Barto cover page story, nobody knew what the heck was going to go down. Some people wanted to believe that Shanks wouldn't do a single thing, but that's not the case. Shanks, when leaving Wano, says, hey, we have to deal with the Barto situation first. And they did. So I'm glad to see that this was not like an off-screen event. I'm glad Shanks did not just, simply say, hey, you're a friend of Luffy, just keep on sailing, brother. Like, I'm glad Shanks really put his foot down here, and he did not take that disrespect. So now, this brings us to the next plot point, which I thought was kind of interesting. This is a brief one, but Teach returns to Hachinosu. We finally find out where Blackbeard is, because all throughout the Vegapunk message, we had no idea where Blackbeard truly was. Turns out he was simply on his way home, right? He fought Law, and then he just made his way back. The most simplest answer is sometimes the answer. And that's what happened here. And he's like, hey, Pizarro, how dare you let Kobe escape? But also, Kuzan, congratulations! You're amazing because you captured Garp. And that really made me stop and wonder for a second, because we just had the plot point where, Shanks told Bartolomeo to give Luffy poison. I do wonder if there's a world, a reality out there, where Kuzan is actually working for Shanks. Because people know that Kuzan has an ulterior motive. Kuzan is not a Blackbeard enjoyer. He's simply on the crew because they have aligning goals. So with that being the case, I do wonder if Kuzan is working for Shanks and if he's just waiting for the right moment to give Blackbeard poison. I feel like that could be the case, maybe. But yeah, that is something to keep in mind moving forward, because I have seen people saying that Kuzan is working for Dragon or Kuzan is working for Crocodile. But we haven't really seen too many Kuzan working for Shanks theories out there. So there is a chance, right? There is a chance. Like maybe Teach is like, hey, Kuzan, you did a really good job. Let's have a drink together. And then Kuzan's like, okay, buddy, put some poison in the little cup. Yeah, like that could be the case here. I could totally see Kuzan betraying Blackbeard in that manner. But of course, that is all headcanon, and I would love to hear what you guys have to say about this. What do you think about the Shanks part, and what do you think about Blackbeard? So, normally, I don't do this in the spoiler videos. I usually keep it pretty contained to like 1 or 2 plot points, but let me tell you, this last plot point literally blew my mind. And I don't say that lightly either, right? Last week, I said the chapter was 11 out of 10. I meant it. But this time around, the ending of the chapter had me in shock because I just did not know what to think about it. So, we come to find out that 2 days have passed since the Egghead Island incident. And all of a sudden, the Thousand Sunny is gone. The Thousand Sunny, Luffy, the Yonko, mind you, Sanji, Nami, Zoro, Chopper, and Usopp are missing. What the hell happened? The giant ship is still around, and the remaining Straw Hat crew, as well as Bonnie, Lilith, Kuma, and the Giants, they're still on that ship. But a good half of our crew is gone. What happened here? And then at the end of the chapter, Nami wakes up in a strange room. Who did this? You know what I mean? One of the reasons why this is so strange to me is because we are a Yonko crew. Who's able to kidnap us like this, right? It's one thing if it's like Chopper, maybe Nami or Usopp, but Luffy? Sanji? Zoro? They kidnapped all of those guys plus the Thousand Sunny while we're just setting sail to Elbaf alongside our allies? Like, what happened here? I truly don't know. Like, this was one of those plot points where I just sat here for like a solid 2 minutes just baffled because I don't know what to make of this. Like, at least for the other things, I can come up with like 1 or 2, quirky ideas. But for this one, I'm really just not too sure. Like, is this the work of the guy who's waiting off the coast of Elbaf? I don't think so. People are saying that Shiki could be coming back into the story. So is it Shiki? Did he kidnap the Thousand Sunny and send it into the sky? I don't think so. Because here's the thing, right? The Thousand Sunny disappeared, right? Like, they were right beside their allies. Like, if something were to happen, if there was like a villain that showed up, I'd like to imagine that the Nakama on the giant ship would notice, right? Like, if there was a battle, they would be able to hear it or see it. So the fact that the Thousand Sunny simply vanished is weird. And then not just that, but Nami wakes up in a strange room. So that means that they were knocked unconscious. Like, these guys were put to sleep somehow. Like, I don't know what to think of this. Like, it reminds me of the beginning of Punk Hazard, because at Punk Hazard we have Luffy, I think it was Robin, as well as Zoro and Usopp. They hopped onto the island, and while they were doing their thing, we had Caesar's men jump aboard the Sunny and put everyone to sleep and kidnap it. So yeah, this is a plot point we've seen before. But here's the thing, that was us back at Punk Hazard. This is us after Egghead Island. Who could have done this? I doubt Caesar's gonna do the same thing again, right? Like, we're talking about a high-level crew. We are endgame. Who could have done this? But also, like, as far as the Thousand Sunny goes, I think it's kind of interesting that that is also gone. Not just the crew, but the Thousand Sunny is gone specifically. Because, you know, I've been wondering, like, since we're going to Elbaf, I could see us getting some Thousand Sunny upgrades, and that won't happen if the Thousand Sunny is, you know, okay. So maybe this is where we lose our shipper. The Thousand Sunny gets damaged a little bit, because that is a thematic we have seen in this final saga. Law lost his ship, Kid lost his ship, Garp's ship was almost destroyed by Pizarro's hand, right? And then in this chapter, Barto's ship is destroyed. Like, Oda is not holding back when it comes to ship destroyment in this final saga. So if the Thousand Sunny gets damaged because of this incident here, then I could see us getting repairs at Elbaf. And that could be a reason why we stay at Elbaf for a prolonged period of time. You know, maybe they're like, oh, like, let's, you know, get some lore, let's get some character building, because the Thousand Sunny needs to be repaired. It's going to take a week or something, right? And that's kind of where I'm at with that. But as far as, like, losing half of this group, it's so strange. Because at first, I was like, okay, you know, maybe this is how Oda wants to proceed in Elbaf. Maybe, you know, Usopp gets his arc, or some characters get their arc in Elbaf, and since we only have half the crew there, they'll get extra development. But here's the thing, we're missing the Sun God, you know, we're missing the Sun God, and we're missing Usopp. So, you know, like, we can't exactly go to Elbaf and get 100% from it if we're missing key characters. So yeah, it is strange across the board. I don't know how to feel about this just yet. I mean, I like it. I think this is one of the most fascinating mysteries coming off of One Piece that I've seen in the past year. And I'm not even joking when I say that, because I genuinely have no idea what to think of this. And then, like, Nami and the strange room. Like, what could that be? Is this like the Phantom Room of Marie Joie? You know, is this like the lost chamber we're talking about here? Like what is... Who did this? You know? Were we abducted by aliens? Did we go underwater? Brother! Like, right off the top of my head, another thing this reminds me of is back when we were at Thriller Bark and we were all walking down the hallway. I think it was like Luffy, Sanji, Robin, and Zoro. And as they were walking down, you know, they kept on disappearing one by one. And then when we came back, we find out that they were kidnapped by Gecko Moria's men. I'm not saying Moria's behind this, but, like, you know, it's weird. Like, how could you kidnap all of these guys? Like, if you kidnap just one or two of them, I'd understand, man. You know, kidnap Chopper, sure, right? Chopper's really gullible. Kidnap Nami, yeah, sure. You know, Nami can't really fight back without Zeus or, you know, the climb attack or whatever. You know, catch her off guard, fine. But Sanji? Zoro? Luffy? You know what I mean? Like, it's crazy. And then they knocked him unconscious because Nami wakes up. So they were knocked unconscious. Their ship was stolen. And brother, I'm just baffled. The most prominent ideas I've heard thus far is that this might be Van Augur, because he does have the warp devil fruit. So theoretically, he could just, you know, touch and then something will disappear. But the thing with Van Augur is that I feel like the Straw Hats would be able to fight him or see him before he does this. Another thought that came to my mind is maybe it's Kuma, right? Because Kuma does have the Paw devil fruit, and we know he could just simply touch and then things like poof away. So Van Augur and Kuma are the two things I immediately go to, but it still doesn't make sense, right? Blackbeard, if Blackbeard were to go after Luffy, I would like to imagine that he would be here, but Blackbeard is at home. He's at Hachinosu. And then as far as Kuma goes, he's like deactivated, so I don't think he's going to be using his devil fruit to send the Straw Hat somewhere. But those are like just the two things that make somewhat sense. I was like, okay, this could be the man marked by flames, because the man marked by flames can create whirlpools. So maybe a whirlpool spawned and it took the Thousand Sunny? But it goes back to what I said earlier, where if something catastrophic were to happen to the Sunny, the Giants would know what the hell's going on. Like, from the sound of the spoilers, nobody has any idea where they went. Like, they didn't see, like, a storm. They didn't see, you know, a whirlpool. They didn't see, like, the Blackbeard pirates fly up. So I'm genuinely confused. It kind of feels like we're caught in, like, a domain expansion, right? Like, somebody just threw up their fingers and then the Straw Hats are gone. I really have no idea what to think of this. It really does feel like we've been abducted by aliens, and that sounds strange. But yeah, with that being said, I can't wait for the full spoilers, man. I want to know more about this mystery. I don't think I've ever been this excited for a chapter before in a while. Like, you know, all the previous chapters, they're exciting, they're great, but we kind of knew like what it would look like, right? But as far as this goes, what's going on? What's going on? But yes, With that being said, though, I would love to hear what you guys have to say about this. What do you think about the Shanks versus Barto fight? What do you think about Blackbeard? And also, what do you think about this mystery? Who are you placing your bets on? I would love to know all of your crazy and wacky theories down below, because Oda just threw us another insane curveball. Can't believe it. You know, I thought everything would be straightforward and simple, but no, this is mother frickin' One Piece right here. And I'll catch you guys tomorrow when more details about this chapter actually drop. So yeah, I will catch you guys later. Peace out, y'all.